Hey everybody, you're watching What's Up with Giancarlo. We've got topic 5, lesson 4 today, solve inequalities using multiplication or division. I can solve inequalities using multiplication or division. MA.7.AR.2.1. Write and solve one-step inequalities in one variable within a mathematical context to represent solutions algebraically or graphically. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, example 1, solve inequalities that involve multiplication or division of positive values. Gina's pet pot-bellied pig is on a diet. He can have no more than 18 ounces of pig food per day. How many scoops of pig food can Gina feed the pig without going over 18 ounces? So, if it's 4 ounces per scoop, that would be 4 times the amount of scoops, which is S, and that would have to be less than or equal to 18. So they say no more than, so it can be either 18 or less than 18. That's where we get the less than or equal to, okay? So, um, like in the other videos I made, where it is solving equations, it is the same thing for inequalities, where we do the opposite of what we see. So right here, we see 4 multiplying by s, so that's 4 times s, so we would have to divide to solve for it, okay? And that is an S, not a 5. So whatever we do to one side to keep it equal, we have to do it to the other side. Okay, so 4 divided by 4 is 1s, and then the sign stays the same, less than or equal to, and then 18 divided by 4, if you break out your calculators or you just do it in your head, would be 4.5. Okay, 4.5. And that's all you have to do. You do the opposite of what's in the problem. So there's multiplication here. So to solve for it, we have to divide. So let's look at the next page. Well, the same page in the book, but the next slide. So our answer is S is less than or equal to 4.5. So in the last lesson, we were doing inequalities and writing number lines down for them. So step one, look at the number the number for the number line, for a line. So step one, we have 4.5. That's where we go to on the number line. 2, look at sign to tell you open or closed dot. Closed dot. Okay? So the other lesson I showed you guys, it was greater than, less than equals open dot, and greater than or equal to or less than or equal to equals closed dot. Okay? So number 2, we have less than or equal to, so it is a closed dot, and you can see that. And then number 3, look which way the arrow is pointing, which way arrow is pointing. Variable on left, follow arrow. Variable on right, do opposite of arrow. Okay, this is also number 3. They're both the same. So the variables on the left here, so we follow the arrow. So we look at the arrow and it's pointing to the left. So 3 would be left with the arrow. Okay, we go to the left with our line. That was a lot, okay? So let's do some. I've got 4x is less than or equal to 16. I see multiplication, so I do 4x divided by 4, 16 divided by 4. I get x is less than or equal to 4. Okay, So 1, the number I go to is 4. 2, is it open or closed dot? Closed dot, because it is less than or equal to. And then variables on the left, so we follow the arrow, so we would go to the left because that's where the arrow is pointing. Okay? Let's do one more. I've got 32 is less than or equal to um 4x. So we've got 4x, we divide both sides by 4. I get 8 for 32 divided by 4. And then I have less than or equal to 4x divided by 4 would just leave me with x. So step 1, we have to look at the number. We find it's 8. Okay, so we go to 8 on the number line. Step 2, open or close dot, it is closed. And then step 3, the variable's on the right, so we do the opposite of the arrow. So it's pointing to the left, so we would go right. Okay? Try it is with division. So that'll happen later. Now here it goes. Example 2, solve inequalities using division by a negative value. Solve the inequality, negative 3.4 m equals 17, then graph the solution. So I want everybody to write this down. When multiplying or dividing by a negative, the sign changes. What I mean by that is, look, we have multiplication here, so we have to divide. And we're dividing by a negative because that's what's there. It goes from less than or equal to greater than or equal to. And it's the same exact thing we did before. Okay? So let's do some examples. I've got negative 3x is greater than or equal to 9. Okay? So I see multiplication, so I'm going to divide. I get negative 3x divided by negative 3. And then I would do 9 divided by negative 3. Divided by negative 3 would be negative 3. And since I divided by and negative 3x divided by negative 3 is x, so since I'm dividing by a negative, I end up changing the sign. So it becomes less than or equal to. All right. So let's do another one. I've got negative 4x is less than 20. Divide them both by negative 4. I've got x, and then 20 divided by negative 4 is negative 5. So this changes. Okay? So this one, we look, step 1 would be negative 3. We know it's a closed dot. And then variables on the left, so we follow the arrow, we're going to the left. This one, we only care about the answer class. So that is where I get this. I get it from the answer. This is my answer. My answer for this one is this. So this is what I care about when I'm doing my number line. So step 1, look at the number, it's negative 5. That's where I go to. Okay? Open or close dot is step 2. It is open. And then the variable is on the left, so I follow the arrow, and it is going to the right. That's how that works out. Okay. And here's the try. You guys can work on that if you want. Okay. So example 3, solve inequalities using multiplication by a negative value. So this is the same thing. We're just multiplying now. So we're multiplying by a negative value. So the sign will change again. So let's work on this. Let's do negative x is divided by 9 is greater than 2. So to get rid of this negative and the 9, we have to multiply by negative 9, because these will even out to make 1. They will make 1s, so all I'm left with is x. So simplifying, that's a 1, that's a 1. And then the negatives take care of each other. So I have x, and then I multiply 2 times negative 9. This changes since it's negative, so it becomes less than 2 times negative 9 is negative 18. Okay, so the number I look at is negative 18, open dot, and then variables on the left, pointing left, so it goes to the left. Okay, I've got negative x divided by 4 is greater than, is less than 6. So same thing. I've got a negative and I've got 4 on the bottom, so I multiply by negative 4. Okay, multiply this side by negative 4. This sign is going to change to greater than. This becomes just x, and this is 6 times negative 4, and that is negative 24. Okay, step 1, negative 24 on the number line. Step 2, open or close, it is open. Step 3, variable on the left side, so my arrow is pointing to the right. So I go to the right. Okay? So I'm just going to go into the answers. So pause this. Okay. So we would multiply by 7 to get rid of it. This stays the same. This stays the same. 15 times 7 is 105. So open on 105, and then arrow goes to the right. Okay? Okay. You guys can work this out. All right? Pause it so you guys can work it out. Okay. My answers are negative 7.8 is less than x, and y is greater than 19. Okay? Both open dots and both go to the right. Let's look at try it 3. All right. Pause it. Work it out. So for letter A, we are multiplying times negative 0.5. Okay? So it'll be negative 6 is less than, okay? And for this one, we are multiplying by negative, no, we're actually dividing. We're dividing here. So for fractions, you do keep, change, flip. So we would multiply both sides by negative 4/5, and we would end up with h is less than or equal to negative 20. Okay? And you guys can work it out from there. So that's it. That's the lesson. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you're watching these videos, you're a part of the class. Have a nice day, everybody.